A very good evening to everyone. I'm your host Lakshmi. Welcome you all to the 130th episode of Prayana Future Talks. Prayana was founded in 2017 with the objective of women empowerment through economic, skill, and personal development. The organization, which is led by women leaders and entrepreneurs who are actively involved in the revival and empowerment of women who wanted to venture into business, wishes to start their career, want to come back into a career after break. Prayana envisions empowering 1 million women by 2030. So what are you waiting for? Let us join us, create your profile, register at www.prayana.in, or you can download Prayana app from App Store or Google Play. Please create your profile today. Join the life-changing, challenging community platform where women can network themselves and share their ideas. Prerna Collective or PRECOL, for short, is a collaborative community to promote sell products, services owned and operated by women. It is India's first e-commerce platform to the empowerment of women entrepreneurs. The platform, which is uniquely designed with an attractive affiliate marketing model, where all women customers are given an opportunity for lifetime savings and earnings. As part of corporate social responsibility, initiatives of PRECOL, Prayana conducts social upliftment training, community meetups, and skill development initiatives on a regular basis. You can access PRECOL at www.precol.com. The Future Talks is an initiative provided by PRECOL to connect and network with some of the most wonderful people who are pioneers to change in their respective fields. It is a series of interactive webinars where you can learn from national and international leaders who have carved their niche and who can instill you with the same energy and power. Today, we have Maushmi Thakurda Nag, is the founder of Mrilik MNT Moments. Sessions are conducting in 2 days. Today, she will be discussing on importance of caring the skin, which is the most amazing organs of the body. And tomorrow, she will be sharing her insights on scalp and hair care. Also, how to deal the commonly faced problems like dandruff and graying. In these tough COVID times, it is very important to improve our immunity. She's going to speaking on improving immunity through skincare, why and how we should do it. You can also able to interact with our speaker. You can post our queries on YouTube live stream, live chat. We will take up those questions, which will be shared to the speaker and will be answered. We have one superwoman who is well-rounded business person working in 2 different verticals, IT and beauty. I take this opportunity to introduce our speaker for today, Maushmi Thakurda Nag, entrepreneur, global trotter, dreamer who lives by the motto, the world is a stage and I play different roles at different times. She is the one amongst a few women in Indian mining industry. She is manufacturer and exporter of natural and organic cosmeceutical brand, Mrilik and Mritika, also working with GO as mining automation project specialist. She is the founder of Maushmi Wellness and Aryan IT Solutions. She did masters in information technology from Carmel School. She got numerous awards as Entrepreneur of the Year by Rotary Club in 2018, Women of Medley Award 2017, Pink Power Award in 2016. With this, I welcome Ms. Maushmi to Future Talks. Invite her to enlighten us with her thoughts. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Lakshmi, for the beautiful introduction, and a warm welcome to all the participants, and wish you a very lovely, wellness-filled evening. So, Lakshmi, I pass it on to you, and you can start asking me the questions that you feel should be, the people should know regarding skincare and how the skin plays a very important role in improving the immunity.
Okay, ma'am. We have collected some questions from our viewers and also from Prayana members, which we'll be discussing right now. COVID is primarily affecting the lungs. The most common symptoms are fever, cold, and breathing difficulties. But a number of patients are asymptomatic or are showing other symptoms like headache, diarrhea, conjunctivitis, etc. The doctor is still finding new symptomatic manifestations of COVID. Are there any identified skin manifestation caused by COVID-19 virus? Are skin rashes one of the symptoms of COVID? Over
That's
to
a
you,
very
ma'am.
interesting and a very good question, Lakshmi. Thank you so much. First of all, we need to understand two, three small things. Like, first, if I ask you, what is the skin? So, the skin actually is an amazing organ of our body, and it's a live sense organ. Sense organ means something just like our eyes, ears, nose. So, and the skin not only, covers the entire body, it acts like a protective organ. It protects all the internal organs of the body. So, the skin actually plays two very important roles. One is to protect the internal organs of the body, and the second is to uh, act as a shield between all the environmental chemicals or the pathogens and our internal system. So it's like a defense organ. It's a fighter. It's a fighter who is actually standing on the war zone, protecting our body from all the bacteria, viruses, and all coming to us. And now, because of COVID, everybody knows about virus, that COVID is a virus. So, what is a virus? A virus is a small microorganism. We cannot see it. And a virus by itself, it is not live. But the thing is that a virus, it starts working or it starts duplicating. When it is alone, a virus cannot do anything. But the moment it is in a live body, like a human body or the body of an animal, it starts working with the cells. It gets attached to the cells and then it starts affecting the cells and starts growing. We call it as replicating. That means increasing in numbers. And as it replicates, it becomes more and more affecting the host body. Host body means the person in whose body it is there. And now we know that COVID, the virus, the respiratory virus, has now it is called the COVID virus, SARS virus, because it started with a respiratory tract syndrome, but we can see that it's affecting our eyes, it's affecting our internal organs. Like many people are having intestinal problem, many people are complaining of severe headache. And why is this happening? We need to understand that the skin is a protective organ and how it protects the skin. The first layer of the skin we have on top is called the epidermis. And even the epidermis is actually divided into many layers. The topmost layer is called the stratum corneum, which is about 15 layers thick. And the epidermis is about 5 layers thick. So 15 plus 5, it is like 20 layers. When a bacteria or a virus or a pathogen, it comes to our body, it says, oh my God, I have 20 layers of a brick wall to cover and get inside the body. I cannot. But then, if we do not take care of our skin, which is the most important organ which covers our entire body, then through the cracks in the skin, the virus or bacteria will go inside our skin and start replicating, start increasing in number inside our body, causing a lot of damages. And nowadays, we have seen that people have started getting this black fungus disease. In local terms, it is called as black fungus disease, where this area near the nose becomes darkish in color, blackish in color. There's a lot of itching in the eyes or on the sides of the face or on the body, the rashes. As you correctly added, that the other manifestations are the rashes are getting developed. Yes, this is because the skin needs to protect your body from the pathogens so that they don't enter our body. But if the skin is not maintained properly, the hygiene, the pH balance of the skin is not maintained, then the skin is like an open organ. It's like an open wound through which the virus or the bacteria can go inside and cause harm. And that is the reason, because the skin is not kept properly, it is not maintained properly, it is not given the due respect of an organ, I should rather say that it should be given. People take it very easily because the skin is there, it's all over our body. They take it in a very general manner. They don't give it the due respect it should be given. And that is the reason the skin starts showing symptoms, and many people are developing the rashes in the eyes, in the nose, in the ears, in the neck, the throat part, and all over the body too, in the hands and all. It's being manifested in very, very different ways, which we cannot actually even imagine. And you know how the skin protects our body? It protects our body through two parts. One is the skin outside, and the second is, we call it as a mucosal lining, like our nose inside. It has very fine hair. Actually, this protects all the dust and germs. The unwanted dust and germs are not let inside the body. Similarly, our body, like there are different parts of our body which has a layer of covering. Even our eye on top has a layer, a watery layer, which does not let anything go inside our eye because it's a sense organ. That is how the skin naturally has been made to protect so that nothing goes inside. The bacteria, the pathogens, the environmental pollutants do not go inside. So unless we maintain our skin, it is very difficult for us to maintain a very, very healthy body. And yes, we are having different manifestations now as skin diseases, eruptions, rashes, conjunctivitis. They are all the asymptomatic and sometimes the symptomatic representation of the COVID virus. You are correct. It is important to maintain the skin because it's protecting the body. Thank you. Yeah. So I do hope I made myself clear. Any question regarding this?
No, ma'am. So far, no. And the next question, over to Deepa, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Moshmi. One thing I like to say is the fact that you said that skin is the frontline warrior of our body. Very truly said. Thank you very much.
We don't give it the due respect. That is
exactly
the problem. We take it for granted.
Exactly.
The skin is there,
yeah,
and that's it. So it's
yeah, we are not
to take care, because if we don't do it, the internal organs are getting hampered, and that is exactly what is happening.
True, true. That is one
Because
aspect that we are overlooking.
The pathogens, the virus cannot go inside if we keep it clean.
Exactly.
I mean, our nose, eyes, ears, because they're all sense organs. And that's why we have said that don't touch your nose, don't touch your eyes while you're outside. But we do touch our skin. It's also a sense organ.
True, true. And it covers more area of the body as well.
It covers all the area of the body.
Exactly.
Whether it's a scalp, it's an extension of the facial skin, it covers the body, which is also skin, and it's a sense organ. If I I'll give you a small example. If I just give you a chemical and ask you to put it on your eye every day, will you do it?
Definitely
no, you'll say definitely not.
Yeah.
But if I give you the same chemical in the form of a face cream or something, which we are applying every day on our skin, thinking that we are going to improve the quality of the skin without realizing that the moment we apply it on the skin, it is immediately absorbed by the skin, because the skin is not only a sense organ, it's a highly absorbent organ. As it is exposed. When we are sitting like this, we are exposing ourselves to all the environmental chemicals. Like it's evening time, I have used a mosquito repellent so that the mosquitoes don't come. But what is the mosquito repellent? It's a chemical.
Again, it's another chemical. Yeah.
Our body is absorbing it, the skin is absorbing it, we are taking it inside. Now our body has a host of cells called the lymphocytes, who start fighting it. They see, oh, some unwanted cells are coming inside our body. These are not wanted by our body, so they'll fight it. And this will help improve the immunity of the body. We go on hearing the word immunity, isn't it? So it goes on improving the immunity. That means immunity is nothing but the power of our body to fight against all the external attack. I mean, the external attack can be the chemicals in the environment. It can be the chemicals, the pollutants in the environment. It can be the chemicals or the pollutants or the unwanted things we eat with our food, sometimes knowingly, sometimes unknowingly, because it becomes part of our system. And it's also the chemicals in our personal care products. It's the chemicals in the environment, the car fumes, the aerosols, the perfumes we use on an everyday basis. And now what happens, the body also has a limit to fight. And when it goes down on that, the body cannot fight it anymore, because most of the deadly viruses, they don't let the body fight. The number of cells go on increasing so much, it becomes cancerous in the sense that it becomes beyond control. That is the time we start getting infected with diseases. So that is where we need to be very careful of the front warrior, the frontline warrior, that is the skin, as you correctly put it. Then all the warriors, all the small organs inside our body, they'll be absolutely protected.
Exactly. Exactly. Truly said, Ms. Maushmi. Which brings me to the next question. For the last 1 year, thanks to the coronavirus, we have been frequently using hand washes and soap, and we are also using alcohol-based, sanitizers and hand rubs and all these things, chemicals, which we are not used to previously. And sometimes we also use like personal protective equipment and rubber gloves and latex gloves and all these things. So don't all these chemicals cause problems, skin problems like dryness, irritation, and sometimes rashes as well? How can we keep our skin moisturized and healthy in these COVID times?
That's a very interesting question. Only thing my request is, don't put your video off, because there's certain questions where I need to see you, then I feel I'm speaking to somebody. Otherwise, nowadays with the online thing, you don't see anybody, because I'm used to meeting, addressing 800, 900 people all at the same time. So when I don't see anybody, it's like you just go on looking at the blank screen. It becomes very difficult. One of you should be there. At least for me to see the smile.
Yeah, sure, Ms. Maushmi.
Realize that I am speaking to somebody. So,
all right, we'll keep our video switched on. Okay.
So first of all, the skin, the way God has made our body, it's an amazing, amazing machine, perfectly tuned. You can see your car, like the moment you take out your car, if something goes wrong, it doesn't work. Or you see your computer, some software gets haywire, you don't know what has happened, you cannot connect to the internet, the Wi-Fi goes off. What happens to our body? It's also a very, very well-tuned machine. And the way God has made it, the skin, the topmost layer, I told you about the epidermis, the topmost layer is called the epidermis. And even the topmost layer of the epidermis is called stratum corneum. Okay, and it's made of a protein. It's made of a protein called keratin. So all our body is totally protein. Okay, So now this protein is actually covered by a layer of fat. I can, for easy understanding, I'll call it as a layer of oil. And this oil is called the sebum, sebum, sebum. Okay. And the main work of this oil is protection. Okay. It protects the skin. Like what happens, you have seen that if you have a layer of oil on top, sometimes the water doesn't fall. It just passes through. Same way our skin, when it has a layer of sebum, whatever comes, it doesn't get inside our skin. When you wash it off, it just goes out. So that is the main work of the sebum. Okay. And it's produced by our body internally. We cannot give the sebum from external this thing. And the second most important thing, or the second most important work of the sebum is to maintain the pH balance. Okay, I won't go into the detail of pH balance, that is hydrogen ion concentration, but just for a simple understanding, our skin has an acidic pH. It's around 5.5 to 5.8. And why acidic is that if it is a bit acidic, most of the bacteria will die in that. Okay, unless it's a very useful bacteria for a skin, which will be going towards, which can thrive in an acidic environment. Most of the bacteria, they cannot actually thrive in acidic environment. So our body has been made perfectly with an acidic environment so that all the bacteria, viruses, the pathogens, it can be a bacteria, it can be a eel, it can be a mold, it can be a yeast, it can be anything that comes, it will die. Okay, now what happens now, it is because we go on washing our face a number of times. We have a lot of chemicals. Our face is getting exposed to all the chemicals. We go on washing our face using this chemicals, strong, harsh chemicals on our face. So the sebum layer gets depleted. It starts coming out. So if the sebum is not there, mind it, the protection is not there. And the sebum is not only on our face, it's on our face, on our body, on our hands, everywhere. So now what happens? We see soap or something like that for cleansing is something we need in our daily life. Okay, for washing and cleansing. In older days, we had the uptons and all. People used to use, if you, speak to your grandmas and nannies and all, they used to use this mittis, soil, and they used to use the upton to clean because that is a very light base so that it neutralizes the skin pH. It doesn't become too harsh. But most of the personal care products, the chemical products, have a strong pH which makes it basic. And soap also makes the skin basic. Basic means the pH changes towards alkaline. And the moment it is alkaline, we don't have the protection of the sebum because sebum is not alkaline, it's acidic. We don't have the sebum protection, it's washed off. That means skin is open to take all the bacteria and all. The frontline invader has lost its frontline soldiers now. Okay, so it is there, the skin is there, but the frontline soldiers are down. Okay, now what happens that when we go on using soap a number of times, slowly the natural layer of protection goes off in totality. We're supposed to wash our hands once or twice. Water should be enough to wash our hands. But now because of COVID, we do not have any other choice but to use the sanitizers. And the sanitizers or the rubs are nothing but chemicals. Nothing but chemicals, alcohol-based chemicals, okay? And now with the sanitizers, if you are eating, that means you are eating with the chemicals. But sometimes we just do not have an option, do not have a choice, okay? Because, it's better to have a hand where at least we are living, we are alive, other than getting all the bacteria or the viruses inside our body. So now when you go on using these chemicals, you'll see after some time the skin becomes very rough. Why? Because it's open to all the sebum is not there. The frontline protection is gone. So it's open to all the bacteria, the viruses and all. Secondly, we call it as an atopic skin condition. That means it becomes very, very allergic. You will see slowly as it becomes dry, the skin starts itching. Why? Because all the bacteria, the viruses are getting a chance to enter your skin. So now we do not have a choice if I tell you that do not use sanitizers, do not use soaps so many times. Do we have a choice? No, you have to use them. And if I tell you that, I mean, the nearest thing we can give, like what we do at NRELQ, like as the founder of NRELQ, I'm the founder of 100% natural skincare product, NRELQ, which does not have any preservatives. Okay, we don't have even 1% of chemical in our products. And we do not have moisturizers. We just have oils because oil is what the skin understands. Because I told you the skin is covered by a layer of oil called the sebum. So at NRELQ, we make this special oils for the face. Okay, we don't apply any moisturizer. We use the oils because the skin loves oil. We call it as lipophilic. Lipophilic means it loves it. Okay, so now what happens? The best way you can do is apply oil on your skin continuously so that it is hydrated and moisturized. Okay, and just not one oil is not enough because you're washing your hands a number of times. We suggest oils with quite a few herbs to be used in it for the protection. Because if I say just use pure virgin coconut oil or you use pure sesame oil, it is going to do some job, but not the complete job, number one. But now the challenge is if we use the oil and use either your gloves and all, because gloves is made of rubber or latex. And with rubber, there are two types of rubbers. One is the plant rubber that we get from the plant. Okay. And most of the plant rubber has a lot of protein, and many people have that plant rubber allergy. And the other allergy is with the chemical rubbers, the latex that is actually where you don't have to use the powders. You know, most of the people are allergic to the powders inside the gloves. So nowadays with the latex gloves, you don't have to use those gloves powders. But the latex gloves, it is covering, and you immediately what happens after some time, it starts becoming very moist. And when it is very moist, that means you are actually giving it place for other bacteria and other pathogens to grow. And then there's a chance of again developing some other related allergies. So the best thing to do, whether you are washing your hands or whether you are using gloves, is to come back and then wash your hands with normal soap and water, the lightest soap and water you can have. Or if you have basin at home, just take a little bit of basin and salt in it so that you're balancing the pH. Okay, wash your hand with that. And then after that, use some good oil on your hands to protect your hands. And this oil, when you are at home, when you are not going out, when you are not using the PPE kits, when you are not using the gloves, for that matter, even the mask, when you are not using the mask, because even the masks, they're covering this area. This area is supposed to be exposed. The nasal passage is supposed to be exposed because we have the hair here to protect our all the bacteria, all the dust from entering the nasal passage protects it. And that is not getting protected. That is not happening naturally. So it's very important that when you come back home, use a layer of oil whenever you get the time. You can do it every 1 hour too. It's very important. And people who have an oily skin, they should not think that oil is bad for oily skin, which is a totally wrong concept. Oil is, you can actually cut down your oily skin by giving oil, but it is all about balance. So covering your hand with a layer of oil whenever you come back home and keeping it hydrated and moisturized so that the natural sebum protection is there, is of utmost importance. First, to keep your hands in proper condition, and second, to protect it from more pathogens from going inside your skin. So I do hope I have answered the questions. Did I miss out on anything? Any point there?
No, you answered all the questions, Ms. Maushami. Thank you so much. In fact, I was about to ask you this question, whether the oils that you suggested are they, can all skin types use that kind of oil? That was one of the questions that I had, and you've answered that as well. Thank you so much.
All skin types cannot use all oil, because it's very important to understand that our skin type is very, it's personal you. All the computers are not same. All the machines are not same. Even all our bodies are not same. It's very important. I'll just give you a very simple example, though I'm just diverting a bit from the topic. The thing is that, like if I say how much of water you drink every day, so, or how much of water you should be drinking every day, can I give a generalized answer?
Ideally, the general answer is 8 glasses, I think 1 liter. But I think it also depends on the person's age and their lifestyle, etc. Right?
1 liter is, I'll tell you, it's again mathematics. Everything in this nature is about mathematics. It's science. Whether we talk about the scale, whether we talk of the consumption, everything is science. And it's very balanced. We have to take our body weight. If our body weight is 70 kgs, because 70% of our body is water. So maybe my body weight is 80 kgs. So I have to drink 4 liters of water. How? 80 divided by 2 is 40. Just put a point there. It's 4 liters. If my body weight is 60 kgs, that means I need 3 liters of water per day. So that is the amount of consumption I should be having on daily basis. So 1 liter is actually too less. You are not hydrating your skin properly.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for clarifying that.
So that means your weight, your weight should be less.
Okay. By drinking a lot of water, is there any problem for kidneys? Because filtration. Kidneys.
Yes. See, I told you that everything in nature is about balance. It's very important to know. Many people think that I have this, let me eat. It's very good for my body. Or, oh, because I have a mango, let me come and apply it on my skin directly, because mango is very good for my body. So it's very good for my skin. Let me tell you one thing, that nature has been made in such a way, anything that is excess is poison. The body will take it as a poison. And anything that is less will be taken as a deficiency. It has to be balanced in the proper manner. So if we take extra water, we'll start sweating more. And yes, the body might find it a bit difficult to throw out all the excess water. And that is the reason. It's just half the body weight. We can go 10%, 15% this side, that side, not more than that. We cannot, I mean, if I am 40 kgs, if I drink 3 liters, I'm drinking too much of water. I should be 40 kgs means I should be drinking about 2 liters of water. So if I drink 3 liters, I'm drinking a liter extra, which is excessive. And the same way, like if you have a mango is what? A fruit. It has fruit acids on you. So if you take a mango and apply it on your skin, you'll see after some time, your skin starts becoming extremely sensitive. You apply mango, you just do that. Take mango and apply on your skin for 3-4 days, your skin will become highly sensitive. Why? But we eat mango on daily basis. Many people say that I eat fruits, I eat all this, so I should be applying this on my skin. No. It's very important to know about the formulation, what should be given to your skin as per the skin type. It's very important to know the correct food. Even when you cook, do you put a lot of 4-5 spoonful of haldi and 4-5 teaspoonful of chili powder in that? No, we follow a certain pattern, when to add it, how much to add it. Because spices are good for body, but in very limited quantities. And that too, it has to be added in a particular pattern, then only the smell and the aroma and the taste comes. Otherwise, it becomes a waste. Nobody can have that food. Similarly, if you take mango or papaya, which is nothing but fruit acid, our skin is already acidic and you are directly adding fruit acid on your skin. So you are making it more sensitive, number one. And there are chances your skin might get burned and you will become extremely sensitive to the sun. You do it for 4-5 days, go out in the sun and you'll see your skin will get burned, start getting burnt here. Because our skin is not used to so much of fruit acids. As it is acidic. So we have to maintain the balance. So it's very important to know what we should be giving to our body and how much quantity we should be giving it to our body.
Yeah, good thing that you compared it to how we put spices in our food. There has to be a specific proportion in which you add each spice. If it goes beyond that, proportion for each of the spice, the entire,
the entire dish would be spoiled.
Exactly.
It would be spoiled. And if you don't give that, you won't like it because it has been prepared. It's all science, how much of each spice you put, it depends on the ingredient you are adding to it. I'll just give you another very simple example. Just tell me of anything that is cooked without oil and water and anywhere in the world. Other than oil and water, do you use anything else for cooking other than the spices and fruits and vegetables? Do you use anything else? No.
I can't think of anything, yeah.
Nobody. I mean, whether it's butter or ghee or olive oil or sesame oil or mustard oil or coconut oil, what is it? It's oil. And that is, our body is made of water. It's covered by a layer of oil called the sebum, because that is what the human body needs. Other than oil and water, the body does not need anything. So that's why nothing, because that is internal consumption that's going inside. And that is the reason at MilkU, you won't find anything with a chemical base. All the products are oil-based, and it has to be mixed with water. I mean, we have just followed the science of nature. And it's very important for people. Now people are going back to nature. I mean, the corona has taught a very good lesson. And people are slowly going back to the tradition, trying to understand why things were done in a particular manner, to decode and use it in a proper manner.
Thank you, Ms. Moushmi. We have got a question from one of our viewers on YouTube. Dipankar Das says that maintaining the pH is crucial. Totally agreed. Can you please mention some essential herbs to be added in the base oil?
In the base oil, it depends on your, thank you, Dipankar, for the question. See, the herbs to be used in the base oil totally depends on your skin condition. Okay, first of all, it has to be your skin is on the oilier side or the skin is on the dry side. That is very important. When you consider the skin condition, you have to see it's on the oilier side or on the dry side. You forget the combination skin or sensitive skin or anything like that. I'm just making it very simple that either it's on the oilier side or it's on the dry side, number one. And number two is that whether your skin is matured, it's a thick skin which takes a bit of time in absorbing things, or whether your skin is a bit soft and pliant, which can absorb things easily. So these are the two most important points to be considered. So if you're using, I'm just giving you the very simple base oils which we use on everyday basis is if you're using coconut oil and you have a very soft, nice, pliant skin, which is not much matured. By matured, I'm not talking of age. I'm talking of the skin condition. If your skin is good, if it absorbs things easily, then use a very soft herb like marigold leaves. Marigold is highly antiseptic. Okay, but we call it as a feminine herb. Feminine means it's a soft herb. Okay, so you can use marigold leaves. You can use a small portion of clove just to maintain the pH at a very low level, because clove by itself, though it's a feminine flower, a bud, but it's very strong. The clove oil is very strong. So do not crush the clove. Just take a clove and add on to the oil. Add of 3, 4, or 10 pieces, depending on the amount of oil you're taking, of marigold leaves, and maybe 1 or 2 of mint leaves. Okay, and then it will be like a balanced one. On daily basis, you can add it and use it for your hands, for your feet, and for your face, especially this area where you are using the mask on daily basis. And if you have a skin which is on the matured side, so instead of coconut oil, you can go for safflower oil. Safflower is high in your omega-3 and omega-6 acids, which the skin needs to absorb more. And it's a bit more viscous than coconut oil. It's a bit more thicker. And to that, you can add a few pieces of neem leaves or rosemary leaves. Okay, you can, both are equally good. You can use neem or rosemary just to make it a bit more stronger and antiseptic. A few means I'm talking of 5 or 6 leaves. You don't take a bunch full and add to it. No, that will be very strong. And then to that, you can just add a small piece of cinnamon, darchini. Okay, instead of clove, you add a small piece of cinnamon and maybe 1 or 2 peppercorns. Piperine is very good to improve the absorption and anti-age the skin. It will be very good for anti-aging the skin. Again, do not crush, just add it to the oil, and whenever you are using the oil, just shake it well so that will activate the herbs to work on your skin. So that is how you balance and use the herbs on a daily basis. So I think I have answered the question. Anything else?
I think you've answered it clearly, Ms. Maushami. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Next question.
Hi, ma'am. I'm having one question.
Excessive steam in.
Sorry, Ms. Sharona, are you asking the question? I couldn't hear you. The voice broke. Yeah.
Yeah, ma'am. I'm having a question. Ma'am, I'm 28 years old. Till today, I didn't follow any skincare routine. So, can you suggest some DIY solution for oily skin?
Okay. So first of all, you said you are 20 years old and you did not follow any skincare
28.
routine.
I'm 28 years old.
28. I'm sorry.
28
and you did not follow skincare routine. So may I ask you one question? Why you did not follow the routine and why you feel the I'm not questioning. I'm just trying to understand to make the
No, it's not like that. I didn't follow any routine skincare routine.
I mean, in the sense that, did you follow the cleansing process and all, or you did not just go for any cleansing process?
Ma'am, I didn't follow strictly, but still I used to cleanse my face twice a day.
Twice a day, you did the cleansing. That is important. That is very important that you cleansed it twice a day, and that is actually enough for cleansing. More than that, you shouldn't be
Ma'am,
doing.
what about scrubbing and scrubbing toning?
Okay. Okay. Now I got your question. Okay. That's interesting. Okay. Let me tell you one thing, that if people say that wash your face a number of times and regime means you do it 4-5 times in a day, I'm sorry, it is wrong. As I told you, anything you do in excess is bad. It goes against our body. So twice a day, Sharona, what you have been doing, actually you have been following a regime. That's why I asked you the question. Sometimes we think we are not doing it. Twice a day cleansing is all that our skin needs. What we are doing now, cleansing our hands a number of times, is not what our skin needs. Twice a day, once before going to bed, and once in the morning is enough. Okay. Now, what should be the correct way of cleansing is very important, like scrubbing and all. Now you tell me, like, if I tell you how many days in a week do you really go and clean your house?
Daily.
Scrubbing and all, you do it daily? Other than the kitchen, of course.
No, ma'am.
No, we don't. Why?
No, ma'am.
Why? First, time is not there. That is other than the time factor.
Yeah.
You'll notice that if you clean something very deeply on everyday basis, the uppermost layer of that material might come out, isn't it?
Okay.
Like if you take a table and scrub it well every day, you will see the uppermost layer of the wood will come out. The same thing happens to our skin, number one. Okay. Number two, the skin is a sense organ. When I started, the first thing I said, the skin is a sense organ. It is not to be scrubbed. Keep it in mind. If you, ever get to use our product Rilq, we have scrubs called loofahs. But the first thing we write in the bottle is do not scrub your skin. You'll notice one thing, that when you scrub your skin, or when you go to the parlors and when they scrub your skin, at that moment you feel very good. Okay. But after some time, what happens, you'll see that most of the time you get small eruptions coming out on your skin. Because when you scrub it hard, you are taking out the outer layer, disturbing the outer layer. And if you do that, you are harming your skin more than you are actually cleansing. The scrubbing that should be done is light tapping like this, unless your skin is very tight and in a very, very healthy condition. When you scrub your skin, it should not make a dent like this. If it is making a dent like this, if I'm touching my skin and I'm just massaging like this way I'm scrubbing, then it's okay, because I'm not putting a dent on my skin. I'm just working on the uppermost layer, on the stratum corneum. But if I'm scrubbing like this, it's putting a dent on my skin. I am harming my skin. So scrubbing, first of all, should not be done more than 2 days in a week. Okay. And that too, when you use a scrub, it's for gentle tapping maximum. And if you have acne or any other skin infection, you should never ever scrub. The work of a scrub, and the difference between a wash and a scrub, is that the wash works on the stratum corneum, the uppermost layer of the skin. And a scrub, when a proper scrub is made, it's made in such a way that it goes into the deeper layers. It goes to your hair follicles, because the skin is covered, our entire body, the skin is covered by very fine hair. And each hair is attached to a hair follicle. So it will go to the hair follicle, because that is where all the dust, dirt, they go and stay there happily. So it goes into the hair follicles, takes out the dust from the hair follicles and takes it out of the skin. That is the job of a scrub. And when you lightly massage like this, very lightly, it will just come out. A scrub is not to be scrubbed out. It's wrong for the skin. You'll be harming your skin. And the wash will be acting on the uppermost layer, mainly to take out the dead cells. And the work of a scrub is to go inside maybe once or twice a week. If you're less than 25 or 26 years of age, once a week, scrub is more than enough. If you're more than that, twice a week, consecutive, it should be consecutive. The skin doesn't understand. You give 1 day and after 2 days, you don't give it food, it doesn't understand. Do it 2 consecutive days in a week, give the scrub, but it's very important that after the scrub, you use a pack to close the pores. Because the scrub, the work of a scrub is to go deeper inside. It will start opening up, clearing the follicles. So the pack will again tighten it and nourish it. So the regime should be about 5 days of scrub and 2 days of scrub and pack. Only when you are using scrub and pack, sorry, I'll just finish this. When you're using the scrub and pack, it's only once a day that you use the scrub and pack, not twice a day. And the day you are using scrub and pack, in the evening, you can only use a pack to cleanse your face. You do not need a wash again. You don't need to pamper your skin so much.
Thank you.
Give it to heal naturally.
Yes. Okay, ma'am.
Yes. Did
I'm having one more question.
Sharona, anything else?
Yeah.
Is it clear?
One more question I'm having. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm having one more question. Ma'am, is it safe to take steam?
It's absolutely safe to take steam, provided you take it properly. Because most of us, I mean, there are a number of burning cases. Most of us burn our face or hands and all while taking steam. But again, how many times you should steam is very important. People go on steaming, that is not good. 2 to 3 minutes of steaming every day is good. But after steaming, ensure that you wash your face with cold water or normal water. If not cold water, if you're prone to catching a cold, if not a cold water, just wash your face with normal water, because steam again opens up the pores. And you can just apply again a light pack after the steam to close the pores. And the steam actually is very good to get sleep. If you have problems with sleeping, just before sleep, take a steam, wash your face, apply a light oil and go off to sleep. You'll have a very good sleep because it opens up the nasal passages. If you have some inflammation, cold, cough, or if you don't get good sleep because your entire internal passages are inflamed, the steam will actually open it up. The steam does not kill the coronavirus. I'm sorry. I mean, if we have that idea, the steam cannot kill the virus. It's just because it opens up the passage, it becomes easier for you to breathe. And that is the reason it feels very good.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, one more question. Ma'am, how often we should use sunscreen?
Sunscreen.
Yeah.
How often do you go out?
Only when we go out.
Okay. And if you go out, how long are you exposed to the sun?
No, right now we are not going out.
I'll make you understand it like a science, like a student. So, how long are you exposed to the sun at a stretch? If you're going in a car and you are sitting inside and side rays of the sun is coming on your face, do you call it as the exposure to the sun unless you're sitting near the window with your face or your hands out? Are you really getting the sun? And most of the glasses are now tinted glasses. You don't even get the sun inside. The houses are all AC. Now I don't have power. The AC is not working. I'm sweating. That has become a habit. Okay. So how often do you get the sun? It's very important. Let me tell you, it's very important for the body to make vitamin D. It's very, very important. Otherwise, you have to take supplement. And vitamin D is extremely essential in fighting viruses, pathogens and all. So 20 minutes of exposure. When I say 20 minutes, I'm talking of continuous 20 minutes exposure. Not 5 minutes now, 5 minutes later, no. continuous 20 minutes of exposure is what our body needs to produce vitamin D. So if you're getting 20 minutes of sun every day, please do not use a sunscreen, a chemical sunscreen, and let not the skin breathe. Let it breathe naturally. Let the vitamin D be produced. Come back home, use a good face wash. The tanning that you get on top will just come out naturally. Till date, I have never used a single sunscreen on my face. Till date, I have never gone for a facial. Never, ever. And I don't use even a single your talcum powder or any powder or anything on my face. So you don't need it actually, provided you follow everything, because whether we talk of Ayurveda, whether we talk of yoga, whether we talk of anything that is natural, even our religious practices, you see it's highly on regime. You do it every day. You don't eat for 2 days. What happens? You'll fall sick. So because you have to follow the regime, our body only understands a pattern, a regime. You do it sincerely. Twice a day, cleaning of your face, sincere cleansing. Follow the things that your skin needs, the nourishment your skin needs. It's an organ, it needs nourishment. It's a live organ. It's not dead, it's live, it needs nourishment. Give it, you don't need to give it anything else. And give it the sun.
Thank you so much.
The sun.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Are we done with the questions? We have any more questions?
Boiled water. Yeah, ma'am.
Sorry?
One question from our viewer.
Yeah.
One question from our viewer is, what are your thoughts about neem boiled water? Is it good for bathing?
Bathing, neem boiled water. Okay. Neem is a very good natural herb. Okay. And it's one of the best antioxidants and antiseptics. What is an antioxidant? How it helps in anti-aging is something, maybe Deepa, we can take it up later in one of this thing, because if I go into that, I'll just get digressed from the topic, but I'll just use the term antioxidant. It helps us fight the pathogens. So I'm using the word antioxidant. So it's a very good antioxidant. It's a very good antiseptic. Antiseptic means, anti means opposite, septic means it goes against sepsis. Sepsis means forming pus and all. So it does not let the body form the sepsis. But the neem is a very strong herb. So if you want to use neem water, use it like maybe 1 or 2 mugful of neem water in your body once, maybe twice a week. If you take a neem bath every day, your body will get used to it so much. Our skin is, again, as I go on saying the same thing, it's a highly absorbent organ. You go on giving it a neem bath every day, and after that, you use anything else, your body will not respond to it. Then your body will need a higher antiseptic to fight a bacteria, because all the bacteria in your body naturally present, or in your environment around you that is naturally present, will get so much used to the neem in your body that it will want that. And if something stronger comes from the environment, the way we are not able to fight COVID because we do not know what strain it is, the body is not able to understand it. Similarly, something different comes, your body won't be able to understand. So use normal water, normal soap and water, or a normal uptan, or a normal wash to cleanse your body every day. If you want to use neem water, use it once or twice a week, not more than that. Don't make anything that is not required a habit. So, any more questions?
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, some more questions are left out. Some question like, are people with pre-existing dermatologistic condition more vulnerable to COVID transmission via contact? There is, yeah. Are
Got
there
it.
any higher risk of contracting the virus through skin?
Yeah. See, as I told you, what is a virus? It's a microorganism. And how does it duplicate or replicate itself? It cannot exist by itself. By itself, it's dead. It has no property. The moment it comes on a human skin or a living skin or a living cell, our body is made of, the skin is made of cells. The moment it comes on the cell, it starts eating up the cell, taking all the nutrients from the cell and growing and dividing. That is called replicating, the way it happens in a computer virus too. It replicates. The word virus computer virus has come from the normal microorganism virus. It starts replicating, it starts duplicating. So when your skin does not have a normal protection, that is the time we call that your skin is diseased. A healthy skin means it has the normal sebum. It is protecting your internal organs properly. You have a healthy body. You have a healthy immunity. And if your skin does not have the normal layer of sebum, that means it's actually letting all the viruses and the bacteria come inside your body. And that is the time when there is a high chance that you catch the virus by contact from somebody else. And that is the reason we are asked to put the PPE kit, because not all of us have healthy bodies. And you have seen one thing, that even with the influenza virus, sometimes there are 10 people in the room. I'm there, maybe Deepa is there, Lakshmi is there. Deepa has a cold. I'm there, Lakshmi is there. I catch a cold, but Lakshmi does not catch a cold. Why? Because Lakshmi has a higher immunity. How does the higher immunity come? Its immunity is nothing but the body's fighting power. It comes only when the body is able to fight it out. Because we are maintaining our body well. We are keeping it active, which is very important. So the same way, if we don't maintain our skin well, we are at a very high risk of contact dermatitis. We are at a high risk of even getting COVID virus. You have seen that there are many manifestations of COVID, symptomatic and asymptomatic manifestation of COVID now on the skin, as black fungus and as rashes and all. So, and we also open our body to, black fungus is actually not exactly, it's not a virus, it's a mold, it's a yeast, and the microorganism which is growing on the skin. And sometimes it's needing surgery too, sometimes it's becoming fatal. So we need to be careful. We need to give the skin the due respect of a sense organ. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Another question from our teammate, Rubina or Rubina.
Yeah.
Hi, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm 20 years old.
Okay.
I used to have a lot of pimples in my face, but recently the pimples have almost gone, but there are a lot of dark spots. So what can I do to reduce them? It would be good if it is something naturally which I can do.
Movina, first tell me, how is your forehead? Do you have any acne or small eruptions on your forehead?
Yes, I do have. There are a lot. It started from the forehead.
It started from the forehead. How much of dandruff you have on your scalp?
Yeah, I do have dandruff.
The day your dandruff is taken care of, first your pimples should be taken care of. That's why I had told Deepa. Deepa wanted to ask me about acne and all. I said, we will take it up as a separate thing, because usually people say that acne is because of oily skin, which is not actually always correct. Most of the acne that we get nowadays is because of oily scalp and the infected scalp. And for you, it's actually an infected scalp. Again, scalp is part of the skin, which should be cleansed on daily basis. It's skin. It's a live sense organ. So it needs to be cleaned on daily basis. So that is important. Otherwise, no matter how many times you take care of the acne spot, the moment your dandruff increases, again, your acne will increase and it will spread and it will leave the marks. But you can use a good homemade scrub made of, if you have very good fine rice powder, very fine rice powder, a bit of sandalwood in that, a bit of mint in that, and apply it twice or thrice. Do not rub. Apply on the skin, keep it for some time, and it will take care of, it will actually take out when you apply rice with sandalwood and mint. It works on the stratum corneum and takes care. You said you are just 20, so your skin is not matured. It's a very thin skin now. Okay, it's in good plant condition. It will take care of the upper layer, remove the upper layer, and your skin immediately you'll see the marks will go. Don't let the marks go inside. Just take care of your scalp so that the marks don't stay on your face. Because if the scalp is not clean, the dandruff is there, the acne will go on coming back again and again. So that is the most important thing. You do it and use the rice pack, and within a few days, 4-5 days, I mean, 2 weeks of application, and you will start seeing the change.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Maushmi. Mubina, does that answer your question? If you have anything else to ask, you can.
Yes, ma'am, it answered my question.
Okay, thanks, Mubina. So can I go ahead to the next question? In fact, I was interested in questions specifically, related to skincare during these COVID times. Due to the pandemic, one of the most important changes that has happened in our lifestyle is the usage of masks, right? Whether it be N5 or whether it be cloth masks, the friction that is caused by the cloth on the skin and also coupled with the sweat that drips through the skin. This is, causing a lot of sensitivity to the skin. They are causing breakouts, redness on the nose and, these parts around the mouth, and in some cases, rashes as well. So what are the precautions that we need to take to avoid this from happening? And how do we ensure that the usage of mask does not cause any harmful effect to our facial skin or to our lips, etc.?
First of all, it's the same policy that we have to follow for gloves, okay, as with mask. First, we need to understand that using mask, covering the nasal passage here is not something we should be doing. We should keep this area open, let it breathe. Okay, that is how our skin is meant to be. It's not meant to be covered. Our facial skin, though it is extremely sensitive, it is not meant to be covered. Okay. So now that because, and the nasal passage, we have we call it the mucosal layer. They are very important. They are very sensitive part. And that is from where the bacteria or pathogens enter our skin. And of course, our mouth area here, the entire area here. But we do not have a choice. We have to use a mask. Okay. So what is important is the moment we come back and we are at home. I know nowadays, because COVID, people say it is airborne, that you should be using a mask at home. It's better to cover it with a cotton cloth rather than using a real N95 or a good mask. First, as you correctly said, because of the friction, what is happening, the sebum is getting depleted. It's getting moved out because of the friction. And our skin is very, very sensitive. It cannot take the friction. It's too much for it. And imagine if that cloth mask is causing the friction and causing redness, how much the good scrubbing would cause it. Now you can imagine. And second is that whenever we come back home or open a mask, first thing, clean your mask immediately so that you don't have any pathogenic or any remnants in that. And second, wash your face well, maybe just with water. If you have already washed with some wash in the morning, just use plain water. And the moment we use water, because nowadays we use the water we get is also not good water. It's very hard water with a lot of minerals in that. So it's very important. Take a good oil, as I explained to Dipankar, the type of oil you should be using. Take a good oil and apply it on your face immediately so that again it is protected. We cannot make the sebum, but we can give it something which is near to the sebum to your skin. Actually, at Rilq, the oils we have, they're all called serum oils. And they're nearest to the sebum. We can never make sebum. Only God can make it, and our skin can make it, the body can make it. But we can give it something nearest to the sebum so that it is protected and it does not get hampered. And we can use it 2 to 3 times, 4 times, 5 times in a day if need be. Otherwise, this area will become dark because it does not get the hydration. It does not get the moisture. You'll see many people have this area as a darker area rather than the entire face. It is because it is not tanning. It is pigmentation due to less hydration. So this needs to be hydrated. The nasal passage, this needs to be clean. And whenever you will come back home, take a little bit of very lukewarm, very light lukewarm salt water. Put a little bit of salt in that. Take that water after washing your face. Take that water in your hand. Put it near the nose. Just take it a little bit inside and then throw it out, so that the entire area, the nasal area, which was covered because of the mask, gets cleaned, which was supposed to be cleaned by the natural air. Now it gets cleaned, and you have the entire passage clean. Then you'll see that you'll never get a cold, cough, or the viral diseases that others are getting. Your skin is clean, your body is active, your immunity will be good. You are not going to get affected by COVID.
This is a very new information for me. I'm definitely going to try it next time. Thank you.
And
so
even
much.
for your eyes, if you have a little bit of itchiness in your eyes because of lot of, we call it as virulence, pathogenic growth in the air. There's a lot of pathogen in the air now. Just take it shouldn't be hot. You can heat up the water, cool it down. When it's a bit warm, put a little bit of salt in it, wash your eyes with that. It's the best eye drop you have.
Okay, we're definitely going to try
that. That your eyes will never have the itching, will never have the problem.
Okay, I'm definitely going to try that.
And then, of course, we have the lymphatic drainage that we talk of, but that is again something we can talk about later.
In another session. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. We have another question like, what all things we have to consider while selecting under-eye cream to remove wrinkles around eyes? And also, I suggest one of the best ones.
See, for under eye and all, can we take it up in the next thing? Because I need to explain to you the structure of the skin under the eye, because the lip area and under the eye area, we do not have any oil glands.
Okay, ma'am.
So that will go into a totally different part and it will go into a different tangent if you talk about under eye and all. And it'll be easier if you segment your question as per the skin requirement with respect to the COVID now, and the general questions for a general talk later. Because the under eye, the eye is a totally different area, and this region does not have oil glands. So we'll be diverting from a topic.
Okay, ma'am. And the question is, a common type of virus infection that shows up on our skin are warts. They spread by contact like handshakes. Could you explain what causes them and how do we get rid of them safely?
Okay. The warts that we generally get is again because of a virus called HPV. Okay, it's a papillovirus, and papillovirus fortunately is not lethal. It's only the cosmetic look. It looks bad. Okay, and most of the time this HPV, the virus, happens because of, it's a contact. It's because of contact. Usually swimming, when kids go out on swimming and I'm in the same water, using the same towel, or somebody in the house has it and we get it from them. The only way we can get rid of this warts is they need to fall off themselves. And sometimes very good face washes that we use, they'll take out the warts because it's a viral growth, and the virus will thrive on the skin only when it gets food. When you cut it off from the food, it does not grow, it will go out on its own. Okay. And third is when I have seen for many people, especially as they age, they start this, I should not say, they start not taking care of the skin. They think, oh, now that I am 35, I'm 40, or I'm 50, there is no need for me to look good and I should not take care of the skin. And that is the time the warts start developing. You will see that it's a very common case. They start getting it on the neck and all. And especially because there the fold comes here on the neck, on the skin, and the warts start developing because they get a very good place to eat there. They get a lot of food there and they grow there. So what is nothing, but it's because of another virus. Cleanliness and a proper skincare regime is the only way to get rid of them. Even if you go and get a laser done on them, after some time they're going to come back. Because they are not an internal growth, they are an external growth. So only clean skin is the only solution.
Okay, so for you mean for existing warts, you can take them out using laser treatment, and then
please don't do that. If you do that, you are actually opening it for more warts to grow.
Okay, so what is the safest way to
see,
remove?
I have many clients in RelCube. I have many clients who have used our face wash, and with the face wash, the warts have come off. I have many clients from Kerala. I have within 10 days, they have started seeing the difference.
So it just falls off?
It falls off.
Oh, okay, great, okay.
So it's not that it will fall off. We don't give a guarantee. It depends on how old are the warts, how much time they have actually let it grow, but you can see the difference. And if you go on using it, it does help. And cleanliness, as I told you, if you follow a good skincare regime, warts will fall off because they're nothing but viruses. And viruses don't like clean people.
Okay, great.
So that's why when you take steam, when you are opening your nasal passage, there's a lot of heat and all the mucus that is inside, it comes out. It doesn't get good food to eat. You start immediately, you see your cold and cough start going. You don't even need a medication. So viruses don't like clean people. You be clean, you maintain yourself, the viruses won't be good friends with you.
True. Very good one. I wanted to ask one more question, which is slightly related to this topic. One of the major problems that we face during summers is prickly heat or sweating, rashes caused because of sweating and all. Could you explain what causes this particular problem, and how can we deal with this problem safely? We have like talcum powders or prickly heat powders available in the market. Are they safe, or are there any natural remedies?
You see, again, one thing, that prickly heat comes only when the body temperature, it's very hot, and the body temperature is, the pH is not maintained. Okay, the moment the prickly heat comes in somebody, especially in kids and all, if you just use a good homemade Upton made of besan, mint and all, some cooling agents, apply it for 2 days, it will go off. The next best thing to do is boil some mangoes. Use a little bit of jaggery, apply all over the body. The next day, the prickly heat will go off. Okay, you can have that mango, boiled mango, or burnt. You can burn it also. What do you call the roasted mango thing?
Roasted.
It will go off.
You're talking about raw mango, kacha.
Raw mango. I'm sorry. I did not mention. I'm sorry. Thank you so much for saying that. The kacha mango.
Okay. All right.
Okay. It will immediately go off. Yeah. You can do one more thing. Take fresh mango leaves, very fresh mango leaves, boil it in water till the color of the leaves turn to yellow. That means it loses all its cellulose. And use that water for 2 days to take bath. They'll go off.
Oh,
It's a
that
seasonal
is
fruit.
yeah, that's a great that's a great natural remedy, and
it's a natural
I'm
remedy.
sure mango
It's
leaves
because
are
of the
very
heat.
easily available. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is that you will never get a prickly heat. It usually comes on the back. You'll never get it if your back is clean. Again, the moment the pH is altered, the skin starts coming out as rashes. They're the body giving out the heat. Maintain the pH of the skin. Keep it clean. We need to keep our back. What happens, because it's very difficult to touch the back and clean it, just keep it clean. Use a cotton. In olden days, we used to have those cotton towels. Dip it in salt water and just nicely clean your back with that. You'll see never ever will you ever get, no matter where you go, a prickly heat.
Yeah, it usually happens when the back of your neck and the back sweats a lot, especially for people with long hair. If I leave it open, I'm definitely sweating rivers down my back. And by the time I come back home in the evening, it's all itchy.
Yeah, even then, if you come back home, just wash your hair with water and the back. Just take a bath, then because we cannot reach all the parts. If you can reach, if there is somebody to clean the back, just use a Opton to clean your back. It's good. If you cannot do it, take a cotton towel, the Indian towels we have. Okay, not the thick terry towels. The Indian cotton towels you have.
The handloom towels.
Handloom towels. And then just rub your back like this with the towel, with the wet towel, so that it's the upper layer is scrubbed. You see, you will never get it. And put some normal talcum powder. No matter, you keep your hair open, no matter where you go, nothing will happen. Your skin would be as clean and as beautiful as it is always.
Thank you.
Nature has all the solutions.
Remedies, yeah, true.
I think we should be done by now.
We are running a bit, we are running longer than we expected, and we still have a few more questions to, answer. So
how many questions
can we, we still have 3 or 4 questions left to be answered. So can we continue this in tomorrow's session?
Yeah,
and
please
then
do that.
Okay.
Because I have another session at 8:30. So
all right. Okay.
I just have 10 minutes to go for that.
Okay.
And that's a very short session for about 30 minutes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So,
all right. Then we'll wrap up the session. Lakshmi, you can go ahead with the, wrapping up the session.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
And tomorrow we are going to talk about the scalp, the hair, isn't it? Okay. Great. Yeah.
Lakshmi will share the screen and we'll wrap up the session in 2 minutes.
Okay. Hope you all enjoyed the session. For more videos, please subscribe our channel. Don't forget to press bell icon for new notifications. Do like and share videos. Are you a women entrepreneur? Would you like to sell your products at Prackall? So mail us info@prackall.com. You can call or WhatsApp chat with us 90720 77791. To connect with us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Prackall. For more details about us, www.prayana.org. For sponsorships or advertisements or memberships, join prayana@gmail.com. On behalf of Prayana, I would like to thank you for giving us your valuable time and inputs, and thank all viewers for active participation. Thanks for the technical team of Future Talks for making another wonderful session. Wishing you all to have a wonderful evening. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms.
Wish you a great evening. Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Maushmi. In fact, we are having a very good participation on the YouTube live as well. We still have 3 or 4 questions from the YouTube. So please, if we can
you wrap it up in 5 minutes? Then
no,
if they're short questions, I can wrap it up in 5 minutes.
I think we can take it up in tomorrow's session because they seem to be very relevant questions. So
okay.
Thank you so much, Ms.
That would be
Maushmi.
good. Yeah.
Okay, we'll continue tomorrow then. See you tomorrow.
Sure.
Thank you
so
everyone
much
for the participation.
Thank you.
Have a